Now here we are in the central desert region. Look at the difference here. This is a painting on canvas. This is not bark. The previous work, of course, you're looking at a different country. You're looking at the rainforests. You're looking at, their proximity to the sea. There's a lot of different connections with that. This is desert. This is by Angelina Pwerle. Very, very important artist from Utopia Mission, which is 250 kilometres northeast of Alice Springs. Outback community, this is the area of Utopia was actually a lot of very, very important Australian artists, Aboriginal artists are located and working there, very famous artists too. Angelina Pwerle paints, this is really about the whole concept of we are country. We belong to country and country belongs to us. And that's actually a quote from the artist too. We are country, the country belongs to us. So this is about looking after country. This is about caring for country. This is about the connectedness to country. Angelina Pwerle just paints about bush plum. The bush plum is her totem, okay? This is about her spiritual connection to the land, and she just paints about that, okay? I love this artist's work. I've seen a lot of her work, and she paints the seasonal changes too of the bush plum growing. Now, if we just go back, you're looking at this work and you're seeing a dot painting, okay? Which is part of the Central Desert Movement, okay, which you do find there. But look at this extraordinary application of paint, done with a very, very fine brush, okay? Very, very fine brush. I've seen a video of this artist at work called Bush Plum. It's a half-hour video and it's just extraordinary. And you can see, it's interesting too that one way of understanding, and I'm simplifying a little bit here too, but one way of understanding Central Desert art is that it's very much like a planar view, like almost like a bird's eye view of the land. That's one way. Again, I'm simplifying, but that's important to view. So this is like the aerial view. It's the big picture. It's the whole lot of her country that she's so familiar with. Okay, and now these artists, they are, of course, they are the custodians of the land. Okay, there certainly would have been pastoral leases in this area too at one point, but now they have control of the land. And so she lives at one of the outstations called the Camel Camp, and she's up there painting, and she's in extraordinary work that's been shown all around the world. So bush plum, the view of the land, you can see the tracks here that go through the painting. These are locations in the land. These are important rocky outcrops in the land where the artist goes and paints. They're also ceremonial sites. These circular areas here that we see, okay, they're important ceremonial sites in the land, that the stories are inherited in that land, that the artist indeed would be able to paint, okay, connecting to the bush plum, and it's passed down from her ancestors, and she's still painting this. And the interesting thing too, and it's when you see one painting by an artist, sometimes it can be challenging because we don't know what the rest of the work is like. But many of her works, of course, again, bush plum, seasonal change. I've seen some of her works where the dots are red, okay, where the dots are yellow. That, if they're yellow, that's the bush plum flowering. If they're red, that's when the bush plum is almost ready to eat, to pick. Okay, and the bush plums also get quite black too as well. That's the best time. That's apparently they're the juiciest then. But so again, connectedness to land, connectedness to country, connectedness to the ancestral stories of the land, and that's the whole lot. A most extraordinary artist, and from an aesthetic point of view, they are just extraordinary as well. But she's part of a movement that started in Utopia in the 1980s or the early 80s. There was a batik movement. She did work as a batik artist, and then she started painting on canvas. And another interesting thing about the community around here is that they still actually do go out and gather bush foods, as is the case here with the bush plum, but also, of course, they go out and they dig for the yams. The dilly bag that I mentioned in the previous painting, there would be a form of dilly bag here to collect the yams, and of course other kind of ways of collecting yams too, in pots and things. So a really, really interesting artist. Also bush medicine comes into this too. So they are a community that know about bush medicine and still actually use particular plants for medicine. So that's particular to this region too. Okay, thank you.